This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined by the former WBO World Middleweight Champion Billy Joe Saunders. We're here at the Lamex in sunny Stevenage, ahead of your bout with Shefat Isufi. How you doing, Bill?
I'm good. Hopefully we have a day like this on the May date.
So tell me about boxing at the Lamex. You're a very local lad. I know well, a lot of people in the area are going to be excited to come and watch you box. Must feel good?
Yeah, I think this is like an homecoming, to be honest with you, because I'm always, even though London is, where I train and where I've been brought up, and but really Hertfordshire, that's never really been a big show in Hertfordshire, really. So it's a bit of pressure on being the first to do so. So I'm looking forward to it, though. I really am looking forward to it. I think there's going to be a good crowd. I think it holds about 8,000. So looking for a sellout and good performance mainly.
It's something I caught up with you very briefly when the fight was announced. How much do you know about Shefat Isufi, if anything?
Yeah, I mean, I know a couple of things. I know that he's moved from heavyweight to cruiserweight to super middle. So obviously he's got that punch power there, bringing down, and he is what he is. I think that to look at this fight, to look at him, he probably don't look anything great when you're watching him. But when you're in there, I feel what he does well. So you've got to respect that. You don't get number one in the world for nothing. So he is number one, and I'm number two at the minute in the rank. So I need to beat him and take his spot, and hopefully the winner either gets recognised as the full WBO World Champion before the fight, or I'm sure Frank Ron can try to work his magic and get it for the full title.
Yeah, just tell me about that, because when this fight was initially announced, I think everyone thought that Gilberto Ramirez was going to be moving up and the WBO would be vacant. I just see on the posters in there that's for the interim title. Yeah. What can you tell me about that?
I think that there was a bit of confusion going on. I think the WBO stated and publicly stated that the title was vacant. So obviously we seized on that opportunity to make this fight and make it for the full version of the world title. But I think that Ramirez had other thoughts. I don't know if he thought that, if he do let go of that title, is he going to be left in the cold at the minute? So I think he's just securing his next move before vacating, or the winner of this fight will fight Ramirez. So it's either way, I'm going to be world champion. Either way.
Now, I know a lot of people, myself included, were really looking forward to you boxing Demetrius Andrade. Now that fight's not happening for a variety of reasons. Why take this fight as opposed to, because I know the Andrade fight was there for you to take at middleweight? Well,
it was and it wasn't, because the offer that Eddie Hearn offered was for a tune-up first, then Andrade, and I don't know who Andrade was penciled in to fight. It may have been Golovkin. So, but I'm doing my own move. We're not doing this move for a reason because I can't make middleweight. I'm in great shape now. I can make middleweight in 7 weeks' time. It's not a problem. But, I'm trying to put myself in a position where I give myself some more options than rather being told and put in a position what to do. I mean, I didn't get beat in the ring for my world title. My world title was, robbed off me, really. I broke no rules, broke no regulations back in the UK or anything like that, or any other state, just that state. And, I think it was a bit harsh, but I'm trying a different track now to put myself in a position where I can go, right, I call a few shots. Because at this level, people can talk shit and say what it is, but you've got to have a say. And at the moment, really, with the Andrade, the money and everything else, and the stature of the fight, I didn't really have the same say, which I'm not expected to. I'm not world champion, but I didn't get beat for that title. So I'll put myself in a position where I am going to be world champion again, and I can have another say.
Let's just talk about that. We're going to come on to it later on, but you've just brought it up, kind of being stripped of your WBO title. First and foremost, I understand that you've got a legal proceeding, or you're sort of in the process of that. What update can you give me on that?
Not too much, but I am looking to sue the state and to go as far as I can with it, because they cost me millions of pounds, and could have potentially damaged my career. So so I can't really say too much about that, but I've got lawyers into that at the minute.
What drug testing is implemented for this? Is it going to be the same testing? Is it going to be VADA testing?
Listen, I've got no problem. I'll have VADA again. I'll have VADA again every fight. I mean, I asked for VADA going over. So obviously I'm not going to ask for VADA and then go and cheat. So it is what it is. But I was speaking to Frank, funny enough, 3 days about it. I was speaking to Frank on Friday about it, and my management, MTK. And I asked for VADA again. So, it is what it is. So I'm back on the same drug testing.
There was a lot of confusion about that. I mean, oxylophrin wasn't something that was banned by the British Boxing Board of Control, but it was on the VADA banned list. So with that being said, moving forward, are you going to be kind of a little bit more careful or wary of kind of what is allowed and what's not allowed?
Look, you live and learn, and as silly as it sounds, and people can say, oh, he's trying to pull fast ones or this and that, but I know that from day one, ever since I put a pair of gloves on, I've never ever cheated, never. I've always, for hard work and determination and will to win. We've not been brought up to that, and it is what it is. I mean, I've got someone looking over it now. I've got my lawyer and obviously my management taking care of stuff like that, because you can be so much as a nasal spray or something you can buy over the counter, you can fail a test on now. So you've got to make sure to, or even an energy drink. So you've got to be on the ball.
Now, since the last time I've spoken to you, you've split with Dominic Ingle. You're here with Ben Davison. I know Ben's somebody you've known for a long, long time anyway, and I know you've done a lot of training with him. Are you now officially with Ben Davison?
Just when I see someone lurking around the camera here, like he done a little 360 here, and he's just lurking in the camera. Listen, I had a chat with Ben, and people asked me what happened with me and Dominic, and but I can just say that when you haven't got a date and you're seeing the same old thing every day, day in, day out, and there's no lift. Sometimes you need a change of luck more than anything. I mean, I think Dom's probably one of the best trainers in the world. Tremendously, the gym done tremendously for me. I would never rule out not working or anything with Dom or anything like that, because I've got a good relationship with everyone there. But I just needed a change up to refreshen myself, and I've not gone for a change up where I've gone to someone else to get to learn something new, or to, I've just gone back to Ben, who I've been with. I've been working with Ben since 2012 now. On and off doing bits and bobs. He knows me really well, and I've just gone back there to brush up on a few stuff with Ben. Me and Ben said, look, we're going to have this camp together. And I know he's very busy with Tyson, but I've just done this change just for a little bit of a boost for myself, just to clear my mind, get away, and new scenery, and you need that sometimes as a fighter. Sometimes you can go a bit stale, and it's hard to get motivated in ways. And when you're around the likes of Tyson Fury in the gym and myself, and we've known each other from kids come through, and it's nice just to have that different buzz. The Ingle gym, lovely buzz, brilliant fighters. The best I've ever boxed and the best I felt there. But for myself and my mindset, I just needed a change up. But definitely, me and Dom's on good terms. Hopefully, I probably asked him, he'd probably be in the corner, hopefully, for this fight. So it's not we've split up and we've gone because we've had a fallout or anything. It's just that I needed this. People who know me knows I like keeping fresh. I like keeping my mind occupied and gone. And sometimes your mind can just wander a little bit certain place. And at Sheffield, it was just starting to do that for lack of work, shall I say? Lack of boxing, all the training and no fights. So I thought, right, get away and something fresh for me. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it with Ben. He's a good coach, Ben. He's done brilliant with Tyson Fury. And I feel that I just need to put something to bed with me and Ben, because, the last time me and Ben was in the corner, that I boxed absolute terrible. So it's a challenge for myself. I need to set a challenge. And, this challenge is I have to try to beat my Lemieux performance, because, last time me and Ben was in the corner, it didn't go well. He got a lot of stick, I got a lot of stick, but it was down to me. I was the one that went up to 15.5 stone and getting back down and slugging myself through and and stuff like that. But I feel that I want to put my last performance with Ben right here, and I think I'm going to do it.
Just going back to Dominic, I mean, a lot of critics some critics, not a lot, have pointed towards the failed drugs test with Dominic Ingle. Has that had any bearing on your decision to leave the camp?
Most definitely not. Listen, I can say one thing with Dom. He's professional at what he does. I'm not. People can say what they want and go, but me and Dom's, it's nothing at all to do with any drugs, anything like that. We've had a fight back since then. It's nothing at all to do with that. It's just to do with that I need to freshen up in my mind and refreshing myself. Like I said, I wouldn't rule Dom out being in the corner or even working with him again. It's just that I needed to get away and clear my mind and set a different goal. I'm not one of these who just need one specific person to train him. Without blowing my own trumpet, I believe that I'm the best in the world. I believe that I will prove to be the best in the world at middle and super middle. So, but to do that, you've got to be happy in yourself, and it's all about hard work and sacrifices. And I'm still carrying them on with Ben, but I just need to freshen up, a different scenery to see. So that's all I'm doing at the minute.
And last thing, kind of Ingle gym related. Well, your old housemate, Kid Galahad, Barry, was at the press conference. He's finally had his world title fight with Josh Warrington confirmed. Just your thoughts on that?
We're going to bring a load of gypsies there with us, yeah? So you can have all the fans and everything going, but we're going to have a squad with us, a squad of gypsies there, ring walking, fight week, armed as well. We're going to be armed with carrots and bananas and apples, and do you know what I mean? We're going to be... Now listen, I reckon it's a brilliant fight. It's an interesting fight because people look at some of Barry's performances and Warren's going to run away, but when you live up close with Barry, you've been in there, sparred him even, and you know how how his body works, and how his mindset is second to none. And for me, there's only one winner, and people can say I'm biased because he's my mate and share the house with him and whatnot else, but I believe that he's destined to be world champion. And when that bell goes, you can't look at other fights and go, yeah, but Warren looked great here, Barry didn't look great here, and you can say the same about me when I've been in big fights, but there's some people that has got that dig and grind in them, that natural winning. I believe that Barry's one of them.
Going back to Ben Davison, as I know you've worked with Ben for a long time. I was speaking to Ben a couple of weeks ago. He told me about sparring stories you used to have when Ben used to be kind of a budding amateur. Just how good is it to be back in the gym? You mentioned the Tyson Furies, Isaac Lowe. You've got a very real kind of thriving stable there. How good is it to be back working with Ben?
Yeah, I mean, listen, me and Ben went through, when I was working with Jimmy Tibbs, when I was out of camp, me and Ben will always do pad sessions, going for a few game plans and tactics, and, every fight I've had since Nick Blackwell, he's always had an input of, what to do, what not to do, how to, because, he's always been around boxing. I remember being around Ben when, with his age, 10, 11 around, he used to be a shit footballer. And seriously, and sort of like we'll go for a few game plans and work off it, and I always felt that me and Ben had a good connection there, a very good understanding that he put something across, and I thought that makes sense. And you don't really get that because when a fighter meets a trainer and he thinks he's okay, but he's not, they can't really get on and gel well. But with Ben, me and him just click, and he's got a very good, knowledgeable boxing brain, as you've seen with the Fury and Wilder. And it's been very enjoyable going in, just something different, just doing different training methods, and that freshens a fighter up a lot. Now I've got a date, and I'm in Atton's gym, and it's just a complete freshen up, and I'm enjoying it at the minute.
It's a funny old sport, boxing, because you've just mentioned the Akavov fight where you underperformed by your own admission. Ben came in for a lot of criticism for that. Now in the build-up to the Fury fight, or back with the build-up to the Fury fight, he had a lot of scrutiny, and now after the Fury fight, he's got kind of a lot of credit from that. Funny old sport, boxing.
Listen, I said that this the other day. I was having this conversation with a young lad, come down and sparred him. He come down, shall I say, and sparred me. And I was just sitting and having a chat with him about boxing, and the same as my son, I've told Deez, that boxing is a prostitute game. You get used, abused, fucked all over the place. Next thing you know, you're the best thing since sliced bread. You are the best. I mean, you look at me boxing last, and I know that I did it because young Denver, rest in peace to him as well, that I boxed at 5:30 in the afternoon. No one there, but I didn't really want to do it. But for the sake of the kid, I thought, right, I'm doing it for him, not myself even. But then, next fight, I'm at, going to sell out like 10,000, main event. It's just a used and abused prostitute game, and you can be the worst today, next week in box, and you're the best ever. It's just how it is. Tyson Fury is, for me, the best fighter on the planet, and if he goes out next and has a 6 out of 10 performance, next thing you know that he's not as good as we thought. It was a fluke. Just how boxing is. That's what keeps people interested. Is it going to be great every time? Is it going to be a boring fight? Is it going to be a good fight? It's the way the boxing world works. It's a very, very harsh game, but rewarding at times.
You mentioned Tyson. We'll come on to that now. He's just announced his fight with Tom Schwartz. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's a dangerous fight. Me and Tyson was having a chat about this the other day. that, you know, people's looking at him. He's number 2 in the WBO, 6'6", unbeaten. And see, the problem is what people don't understand is somebody that's been beaten before, it's very easy for him to accept defeat again. But when you got somebody, we don't know how big this fella's heart is, because when you got somebody that don't know what it's like to lose, you don't know how far he can dig. You don't know how far he can go. You know, when someone don't want to lose and the fear of losing is, you know, life-changing, that can be a tough night for anyone. So we don't know that. But this fellow I know is 6'6", you know, can punch a very, very good puncher, number 2 in the WBO World heavyweight ratings. So for me, it's a tougher test than Miller, I believe. He's got a good style, good boxer. This fella can punch, can mix it up, and Tyson has to be on his game to deal with this man, and he knows that. So he's in great form at the minute. He's looking the best I've ever seen him look, and I believe that he's going to do a number on him.
Let's just talk about that criticism, because I mean, a lot of boxing fans, myself included, would have loved to have seen, first of all, the Wilder rematch. I was out in LA. It was a terrific fight, brilliant performance from Tyson out of 40. Won the fight quite clearly. I think everybody was expecting that rematch to come. I think it's quite understandable that fans are a little bit disappointed that it is Tom Schwartz. Do you see that viewing?
Well, obviously you can see the difference from Wilder, for me, and this big animosity between the two, and, you know, this big talk show, then the fight lived up to its hype. You don't get that every time in boxing. That's the reason why that fight was worth 20 million. But, you know, sadly the numbers may not add up next time. It's all about securing your family's life financially and, you know, putting your legacy right. And, you know, he's just done a deal with Espn. You know, he's obviously managed by MTK, the same as me. They've done a great job of him. And sometimes you've got to put yourself first sometimes in this game. You know, you have to put yourself first. And, you know, he's not saying he don't want them. He's saying, look, we'll have the fight, but let's go over here. Look, there could be more money here for you. Well, I'm not saying I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to say, have a talk here. There could be, but if they're going, no, it's over here for a reason. He's already been over there and been robbed. You know, he's already been over there and been robbed. You couldn't beat Wilder any more convincingly, and he'd been robbed. So, you know, that's going to put him off. Perhaps if he would have won the fight, he'd went, well, I've got a fair chance. Let's forget about the money. Let's do it again for the fans. But he's already did it for the fans and been robbed. So, you know, my opinion is, and my view of it, I think he's done the right move going via ESPN. They're obviously a good team, got a good outfit, and I feel they're going to do his American fans and population is going to go through the roof of ESPN. So them fights will happen, but, you know, I think they got to happen on Tyson's terms now, because I believe that Tyson is, well, I know he is, WBC heavyweight champion of the world. But, you know, there's not, if you asked 100 people who won that fight, I'm sure that 99 of them, even American fans, will say Fury.
What do you make of kind of the promotional politics? I think, like, a lot of people, again, myself included, kind of saw kind of on the horizon these big fights could get made, and then obviously Tyson went over to ESPN. You've got Joshua on DAZN, Wilder staying with Showtime. The politics is kind of getting in the way of the big fights. Would you agree with that?
It's TV channels, it's broadcasting what's getting in the way of the big fights. I think it's just that, you know, I think that all these promoters now want to prove that, oh, we can put the big shows on. Oh, so really, you can't blame the fighters. Same as what I said, fighters are only prostitutes. You know, they're getting paid to do something. So you got to ask that question to the TV companies and promoters, because it's one of these that I'm sure if you put Wilder and Fury in a pub, they'll fight for free with an argument. But it's just TV companies keeping them adrift a little bit. So it is what it is. But listen, it's all down to business, isn't it?
What about yourself with ESPN? A lot of rumours circulating that you're about to sign with ESPN. What can you tell me on that?
Look, I leave all my talks to my management, MTK. You know, they put something through to me and across to me, and, you know, I'm with Frank Warren at the minute. I'm happy with Frank Warren. People going on and saying, oh, you know, Frank this, Frank that. You know, Frank's done all right for me. You know, I would have liked, obviously, the big fights, but they've not happened for a reason. But at the minute, I'm with Frank Warren Promotions and MTK. So whatever they come up with and come back to me with, if it suits, then you know, I'm open to talks. But at the minute, I'm just focusing on this job I got in hand on the 18th.
Just finally, because I know there's a lot of people behind me waiting to get a word with you. Last time I saw you was before Chris Eubank Jr. versus James DeGale. You told me James DeGale would win that fight. didn't quite happen that way. Just your thoughts on that.
I also think Eubank's going to get beat his next fight as well. So listen, it is what it was. DeGale's a good friend of mine, you know. But in this sport, you can't go abroad and take big heavy fights after each other for money. I mean, look, out of 2008, really, that full squad, there's only me and Tyson Fury left. You know, there's only me and Fury left out of that full squad. So obviously we're doing something right. You know, I ain't had a broke nose yet, so probably ain't boxing 10 years.
Eubank Jr., a fight that you're looking at, or potentially you get through this, you pick up the WBO. Would that be a fight that interests you at super middleweight or middleweight?
Look, it's like I say, I'm just concentrating on this job on the 18th, and I'll leave the rest to my management and what they come up with. We'll sit down and we'll see if we can make moves.
Very diplomatic. Thanks.
You took the piss a bit though, haven't you?
How's that?
You've been here like fucking 40.
Got it extra early to interview you beforehand.
I was going to say, you do shaving that beard.
That's not the first time I've heard that this week. Billy Joe Saunders, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Look forward to seeing you in action at the Lamex.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Bill. Bye.